All right, what's up? No time to explain game. King Zeph here, back with another video for you guys. Happy Saturday. This is a little bit more of just a little bit of news update because apparently, Konami and Ravensburger decided to drop a lot of random, pretty decent news this week. One of which dropped yesterday, and of course we're gonna go over here. I'm pretty positive that if any of you guys follow any of the Yu-Gi-Oh content on the channel, you guys have probably already gotten a word on it via Twitter, social media, or whatever groups that you may be a part of. But we're just going to go over a couple little things on that side of the spectrum because a lot of it I see as really good and positive news, but on the other side is also a lot of work for me because now I have to have a lot more things to worry about for the coming year, which will be fun for me because it's stuff I like to do, but at the same time, it's just a lot more work that I'm gonna have to do in terms of making sure videos, news, and other things are put out on the channel. But anyway, before we get started into all of that little fun stuff, if you could do us a favor, if you're new to the channel, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Get us on our goal to the next 750 subscribers. We have a lot of content coming very soon, as well as a lot of content already on the channel. So if you want to check us out, or if you appreciate the news that we're giving, just support us. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and a lot of you guys that watch the videos aren't subscribers. So just hit the subscribe button, make it easy for everybody, and hit the bell so when we post videos, you know when it's coming, as well as future live streams and everything else in between. But let's get into some fun news. So apparently, Konami decided they're gonna drop another rarity collection, and it's gonna be relatively soon. It comes out in May, if my mind serves me correctly. I'll be able to look at the website in just a hot second. Rarity collection came out in November, so it's only about 2 months old now because it came out very like in the mid to late November territory. So it's been about 2 months since the very first rarity collection came out, which was actually really good news and new to the TCG because rarity collection, they have OCG sets of rarity collection. I've only opened the newest one, but I've seen the previous ones and everything in between. So the OCG does it at least every couple of years. If it's not once a year, it's like every couple of years, where they just do a massive reprint of a lot of cards that are needed. But at the same time, you know, OCG, they make cards in many different printings and rarities as it is. So it's not like they really need it, but it's nice to have like one box or one product that they release that is, you know, basically have a lot of stuff that is going to be very viable, that is going to be very wanted to mitigate a lot of the high cost of singles because Konami has gotten a bad rap, at least this past month, due to Bonfire and the Maze Millennia set because, you know, Bonfire, when it was on pre-release, I think it went as high as $130 per card, which is very absurd for a card like that. It's also being an ultra rare. I would probably understood a little bit better if it was the collector's rare, but the ultra rare was going for 130 bucks. It's kind of settled down a little bit. It's still stupid high. It's sitting around 80 bucks per copy now, and I get everybody's frustration when it comes to that because I have the same ire towards like scalping and people that are like huge resellers and buying a product from bots and a bunch of other things. That goes to another topic later in the video, and I've talked about it in, you know, for Lorcana stuff, but people really getting mad at Konami because of the fact that, and that card being as high as it was and it being a pretty important staple for the future strategies that come out in the very next set, which will be coming out in a couple of weeks, has pissed a lot of people off, and it already kind of deters people from playing Yu-Gi-Oh to a degree because the price of entry in terms of having a really good competitive deck where you have a very high chance of winning and getting prizings from your locals and participating in YCSs and regionals and all the other stuff is really high. And I feel that pain too, because most of your most powerful cards and your staples, I'm going to just use SP Little Knight as an example, or even the Wanted engine. I mean, the Wanted engine by itself, getting 3 Sinful Spoils, maybe 1 or 2 Diabell Stars, and the SP Little Knights, that's pretty much the cost of a case. Like, getting all 7 of those cards that you need for that engine is about $500, or the price of a PlayStation 5. So, and that's just for 7 cards. That has nothing else to do with whatever the other cards that you may need or decks that you're playing and all that other stuff, and not including other hand traps that go with it. So it is really bad, but that's not really Konami's fault. Well, part of it is Konami's fault, but really the blame isn't really pointed towards Konami because that's the market causing that. That's people putting a price so high at a point and people buying it to the point where the market says, hey, this card is worth $120, and it just sits there because, one, not a lot of people are going to sell it, and the people that are going to sell it are going to expect to get $120 to $100 out of it. So within maybe a 10 to 15% difference of what the market says. And with those cards being very important and powerful, it allows players to have a very high chance of winning. So where Konami is to blame in that situation is the fact that Konami in America for the TCG, they only print cards until they reprint them in future sets in one rarity. So if a card is a common, it's a common. If it's an ultra, it's an ultra. If it's a secret rare, it's a secret rare. It only comes in that one rarity, as opposed to the OCG, which will basically say, hey, this set has 80 cards in it, and 55 of the cards can be available in rare, super rare, ultra rare, prismatic secret rare, or so on and so forth. A lot of your most important and powerful cards in the OCG, you can find them in multiple rarities. So that way it's not as expensive to get. So very important and powerful cards. Let's use Populous, Bonfire, SP Little Knight, or whatever, because I pulled, I think, 3 or 4 SP Little Knights, and I can't remember what set I pulled it out of off the top of my head. The videos on the channel. But one of the OCG sets that I opened up, oh no, it was Age of Overlords. I don't know why. It was the exact same set as TCG. I just had a brain fart because OCG has a lot of different sets and they release stuff at different times in TCG sometimes. So I just kind of had a lapse in memory. But I pulled a common, a super rare, and I think maybe a secret rare of SP Little Knight in Age of Overlord box in OCG. So the fact that I was able to pull it as a common would have mean I could use that card without having to worry about spending $130. The only time I would have had to spend $130 if I just wanted like the quarter century secret rare version of it, or the prismatic secret rare, that type of thing. If you want the highest rarity just to bling out your deck, then you would pay the higher pricing. But if you just wanted to have the card to be competitive and to play, then you could purchase it at a much lower price because you could get it in a lower rarity. That's how they handle things in Japan and in the OCG. Sadly, you can't use OCG cards in America, which is kind of odd to me considering the fact that you can use cards in other languages in the TCG as long as you can basically reference what the card does, but you can't use the Japanese ones, which is a little odd to me. I don't really know why. I can get if you're playing a sleeveless deck, and of course, you know, the backside of the card is different because the backside of the card will be in Japanese as opposed to English. But if you're playing a deck full of sleeve cards, you really won't know the difference of what card is which until you play it. But that's neither here nor there. That's going to be rules for Konami's competitive market. I feel like they probably should change that, because that seems like that actually would solve a lot of problems. Like, it would allow people to play the Japanese version of the cards and get them for a cheaper price and use them as proxies to a degree until they can either get the card that they want whenever they decide to do a reprint of a lower rarity, or they just reprint it to the dirt to the point where the price drops down tremendously like they did in the very first rarity collection. But I digress out of that. But that's Konami's main issue in the US. And actually, if you guys pay attention to anything business related, I've heard about this because I think they did a marketing shareholder meeting thing when it came to Master Duel, Duel Links, and the actual TCG, because they've been seeing a lot of popularity around Master Duel, which is great because it allows people to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Digitally without the ire of purchasing cards. Of course, you still have the pay-to-play or pay-to-win type of thing because you have to buy crystals to buy packs, but you still have a free-to-play aspect to it where you can earn cards that way. But the goal for Konami is they wanted to translate Master Duel players into physical card players, which means they want people to transition and support local game stores and play the physical card game, which is great. I mean, I have no problems with that, and that's actually a great idea, because if you enjoy playing it digitally and learn to play the game and learn the ins and outs, why wouldn't you want to play it physically with real life people in different formats? That's really a positive thing. But realistically speaking, because cards cost an arm and a leg, it deters people away from doing that. So I feel that Konami, if they treated the TCG like they treat the OCG, the stigma around purchasing cards and getting cards would be a lot less severe, because then people could actually invest money in the game and play and a bunch of other things. But they're probably not going to do that because there's too much money to be made by having people buy cases and boxes hoping that they pull the card that they need, especially if they need 3 secret rares and you only get 2 in a box. So good luck with that. But back to Rarity Collection. That was one of the big reasons why it made Rarity Collection and TCG so prominent, because of course you were able to get pretty much every viable hand trap and every viable staple card that you needed out of that for an inexpensive price. You bought an $80 box, the likelihood that you would get staples like Barone, which Barone has always been, when Barone first came out, which was the only good card in Legendary Duelist, it was pretty much a $100 card. It sat at around $80 to $100 permanently up until it got reprinted in Maze of Memories, which came out a year ago. But even when that reprinted, they created a collector's rare of it, and they kept it at an ultra rare for the reprint. But even still then, the card's value stayed at around $55 to $60. So it did come down a little bit, but it still was an expensive card at the end of the day. Barone didn't become inexpensive until they reprinted it in Rarity Collection, because in Rarity Collection they printed it in a super rare, an ultra rare, a secret rare, a prismatic ultimate rare, collector's rare, quarter century secret rare, and the platinum secret rare. So it came in 7 different rarities. So you were more likely to, one, get Barone if you bought a booster box, because even if you didn't get it in an ultra, you got it in a super rare, or you got a luxury rare, whether it was collector's rare or ultimate rare or whatever. But the fact is, because it was reprinted so vastly, it forced the prices of that card to come down, because now everybody has a fair and equal shake and opportunity of pulling Barone if they bought a booster box, or even if you just got lucky and bought a few packs from your local game store. So for that card was very important. Sphere Mode and a bunch of other cards, Impermanence, Forbidden Droplets, all of those high value cards, Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, instantly became cheaper and easily accessible because it was just much easier to get. So that's what made Rarity Collection like the best set of last year, because that was the set I would recommend to anybody that was new to the game. It's like, hey, if you're brand new to Yu-Gi-Oh, outside of buying a structure deck, what cards do you need to be somewhat viable or compatible? Where do I get the cards? You can point out all the hand traps, but if you want to try to get them all in one batch for a low price, as opposed to buying 3 copies of each for maybe $10 a piece or whatever it was, it's just like, hey, buy a booster box for Rarity Collection, and you probably should get everything you need out of that booster box to make you a little bit more, give you a better competitive edge for cards that you need. So that was like the best set. And of course, considering the fact that they do multiple Rarity Collections in OCG, it was one of those things that's like, they should keep doing that in the TCG, but of course, all of us knowing Konami, we didn't expect to see one so soon. I expected personally to see at earliest once a year, if not every other year or so, or every couple years. So like maybe every 2 or 3 years in terms of format changes and differences in different sets that come out over the year. I would expect to see another Rarity Collection, but they shocked us within 2 months and basically said, hey, this was so good and so successful that we're going to release a sequel, and we're going to release it relatively soon. So let's go ahead. I'm going to switch over to my computer screen and go over this a little bit more so you guys can see it. So this is from Konami's website. So this is the current Rarity Collection. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit more, because I know for me it's big, for you guys it's not. All right, there we go. So this time the pack is blue instead of red, which Rarity Collection 2, whatever. I could care less what the color of the pack is, but the pack is the pack. This set is a little bit smaller though. It has 79 cards, which the other one I think had 85, which I really don't care about the set size. That part is irrelevant. But official tournament store date is May 22nd. The official launch date is May 24th. And then of course the cards will be tournament legal on the 24th. I think that's a little misleading. I guess they keep that label going on, but since this entire pack are reprints, every card in this set will be tournament legal day one. If you have a judge that is going to be a little bit butthurt about you using a quarter century secret rare version of, let's say, Ghost Morning and Haunted Mansion as opposed to the Starlight or whatever, they're just being a jerk. But since this set is 100% reprints, all the cards in here are already legal unless it's on the ban list, which I doubt will be on the ban list. So I don't even know why this Konami tournament legal date stamp is here for this particular set, because it's a reprint set. I know they do it for the current sets, which makes a little bit more sense, but regardless. And then of course each pack is about $10 a pack, which is a little bit higher because usually booster packs are about $8 a pack. So they are upping the pricing of these packs, but also compared to the last one only were 5 cards per pack. This one is 9. So this is like a legit full-fledged booster pack. Obtaining twice as many ultra and secret rares per pack. So instead of it being 5 cards, you get 9. So of course they're doubling the ultras and the secrets that you get out of it. Twice as many of the luxury rares per pack, quarter century secret rare, prismatic style, ultimate and collector's rare, and the platinum rares. Prismatic, ultimate, is collector's rare is my favorite rarity because that's the versions that they use for the OCG, so I prefer those over anything else. And then it says we cut back on the packaging, so there'll be fewer packs you'll need to open and fewer foil wrappers to throw away to get the number of cards you need and double out of the pack. Also, so the booster boxes might not be as big. That's probably what they're gonna do. They say we're limited on the plastic, or just by saying they loaded it with more packs. That's a little subjective. I wonder what that actually means. Does that mean instead of 24 packs you get in the box, you get like 15? Or does that mean because they up the number of cards you get in the packs, then there's less plastic because you get 24 packs? Yeah, that's really subjective. We'll have to see when the actual set comes out in May. But if you missed out on the first Rarity Collection, here's an easy way. Every card in the set is available in every rarity, 3 standard rarities, and then the 4 luxury rarities. blah, 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 random information. So each pack will contain 2 secret rares. Each individual is a 1 in 4 chance of being upgraded to a platinum secret rare or quarter century rare. 4 ultra rares, which 1 in 6 have the chance of being upgraded to a prismatic style collector rare or prismatic ultimate rare, and 3 supers. So you're getting 3 supers, 4 ultras, 2 secrets, and then of course you have a chance of them being upgraded, which means and that's even more possible because you can easily get a booster pack that has a quarter century secret rare, an ultimate rare, and a collector's rare in the box. So that means you in the pack, so you can easily get a lot out of one booster pack. All cards are different from the first rarity collection. So essentially you're not getting the same cards. So that leaves, I think, there's not a whole lot. So of course you have the other Blossom Sisters that you can get out of, because I think Ghostborn and Haunted Mansion and Ash Blossom were the 2 Ghost Sisters in the first rarity collection. Call by the Grave was in there, Forbidden Dropper was in there, Infinite Impermanent was in there, Nibiru was in there. So you're going to get a set of completely different cards. Hard to find tournament powerhouses, Access Code Talker, and Magician Souls. Access Code Talker is a little bit more subjective because that card was available in the what was the name? It was called like Code Breakers or whatever it was. It's a very expensive set that came out a long time ago, but it was reprinted in Gold Rare in the El Dorado Maximum Gold set. It was also reprinted in one of the Battle of Legends sets that came out last year. So I wouldn't call it so hard to find. It was an expensive Link monster for the longest time. I think it's settled around $15 to $20. So still somewhat high, but not too bad. You're only really going to run 1 Access Code Talker in your side deck anyway, so it's not like you need more than 1. So $20 for 1 isn't terrible. But Magician Souls, since I am a Dark Magician player, I will be searching for these, of course, in the quarter century secret rares more than anything else. But that card has had a couple reprints, and that card has always been over $20. It is a very important staple in a Dark Magician deck. And not just Dark Magician, most Magicians decks as well, because McConkles plays this card and a couple other things. So that is a very good reprint to have, and that will force that card to really be literally $1 or if not cheaper. Silent Magician, Silent Swordsman, really don't care about these. They get a little bit of light support in the April set, but that's not that important. That's more or less for nostalgia players. And then we get into some of the staples: Droll and Lockbird, Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit, which is a very good staple. It's not really used so much in this format, but when you need it, you need it. Ghost Mourner and Chill, and then Phantasma Dragon, Phantasme. Pretty decent card if used properly. Personally, Droll and Lockbird in this format right now is probably going to be your most invaluable staple outside of Snow Rabbit. And then also you get all the primitive planets. So Primitive Planet A, Rackphobia, Pellerino, Wraithsaw, and Calarium. Rackphobia is a good one. Pellerino, not so much. That's the tier limit one. Since tier limit has pretty much been nerfed to the ground, Pellerino isn't that important, or is going to be that viable. Wraithsaw, if you play Castor, which Castor is still a very good engine to play. And this engine is a very good card for that. It allows you to draw a Castor card when it's played, and then of course, whenever what's the name of that planet? Oh, Shangri-Era activates its effect. You get to pop a card. And then lastly, Biker version of IP Masquerade and the Fierce version of the Rescue Cat will all be available in all 7 rarities, plus Apollosa and the gold, the Bowl of the Goddess. This card was last reprinted in Magnificent Mavens. The alternate art version of that was printed in Magnificent Mavens. So that card was recently reprinted about a year and a half ago. Not a terrible card. It was probably the original version of Apollosa and all that other stuff, and then plus dozens more. So in terms of the cards that'll be in this set, it'll be very, very interesting to see what other cards they throw in here. So positive news from Konami. So that basically puts us now in terms of the booster packs. Did they add any new structure deck information yet? No, the last one's still Fire Kings. So in terms of product releases, of course, Maze Millennia just came out this past Friday. That leaves the next set, which will be Phantom Nightmare, followed by Legacy of Destruction, which comes out in April. And then May will be set for the Rarity Collection. And then, of course, we also have the starter deck, which comes out, the 2-player starter deck that comes out, I believe that's this week. Yes, that's this week. So we'll be reviewing that on the channel. I'm going to see if I can review that in terms of actually playing it as opposed to just looking at the decks. But I'm going to be purchasing this because, one, that's a free Zeus, and I do need another copy of Zeus and don't feel like spending the $20 for one copy. So I'm just going to buy the $20 to $25 deck to get an extra copy of that, and also for the collection. And then what else is coming out? Oh, the Battle of Legends Chapter 1 set that comes out right after Phantom Nightmare. So this will have Yubel in it. This will be the colored ultra rares. It will be like blue or whatever other random color they have for this. And this should also include the reprint of the Astrograph. What is it? Astrograph Utopia. Yep. The Astral Language Utopia. So that'll be the reprint of that. But that card really isn't even that expensive. It's in today's language, so now it's going to get even cheaper. So more power to them. Does it come in? No, it'll just be a reprint of that. I think that card came in a Starlight rare. I think that's like a $30 or $40 Starlight right now, if my mind serves me correctly. But I'll double check that later. But that's going to be pretty much the product lineup for Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of regular things. I know Speed Duel has a set coming out, the Midterm Destruction that comes out in March as well. So that comes out right before Phantom Destruction. But in terms of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff for up until at least the summer, they're pretty stacked. They might slide a couple more other things in here in the middle, but nothing has kind of popped up in the OCG so much. So I'm pretty positive that this is pretty much all we're getting all the way until June, which isn't a bad thing. That's actually really good in my personal opinion. So these will be the next 3 sets we'll be opening up, as well as the Battle of Legends and the other thing, along with a couple other OCG things. Now, moving on to Lorcana, because Lorcana has had a lot of announcements. First and foremost, we didn't really talk about this very much, but they did announce Into the Inklands, which is the next, what we can call Chapter 3 set that comes out next month in February. They kind of slid this in December, right when Set 2 came out for all the other stores after Black Friday weekend, which people kind of had a little upset of them announcing this so early, because at the time it was still difficult to kind of get product for Lorcana, especially during Christmas time. But Set 2 kind of cooled down relatively quickly, because it's, from my experience personally, I've never had issues finding blister packs of Chapter 2 in a Walmart or Target. And then even so on, like close to Christmas, like a lot of stores got their reprints or their second batches of booster boxes. And even some of my local gaming stores near me actually still have like packs available or booster boxes available for sale. So I don't know if Chapter 2 was just not the greatest set in the world. In my personal opinion, I didn't really care for that set so much. It did have some pretty useful new cards in it and the Resist engine, but I didn't really see that set being that like devastating or that good in my personal opinion. So maybe that's why it just didn't sell as well, or maybe that's why it's a little bit more accessible, or maybe Ravensburger just reprinted it to the dirt, and I don't know. But the prices on the resellers and the scalping of that tremendously dropped, for the exception of the D100 set and the Troves. I don't even know if they're going to re-release those. Well, the D100, they're probably not, but the Troves, I feel like they should probably produce more of those. That's one product I haven't seen. I've been seeing booster boxes and packs in the decks, but all the other side stuff, I haven't seen much of it all. So maybe they'll do that in Chapter 3. I don't know, but the 2 hardest things to get out of that were the Trove and the D100 set. But moving on, this is Chapter 3, or if you want to call it the 3rd set. So it's supposed to come out towards the end of February. Did they actually give a date down here? Yes, they do. February 23rd, 2024. And then everywhere else, March 8th, which is 2 weeks later. They always do the 2-week stagger release. So the hobby stores and the Disney parks will get it February 23rd and everything else in between. So with that being about a month out, now is actually really a good time to like talk to your LGSs in terms of pre-orders. I know a couple places have already started doing pre-orders, or the pre-count pre-order thing. Some places are really more shady than others. But this would be a good time to go check out your LGSs in terms of the pre-order process, or how much they're going to be getting in inventory, because outside of this, they should also be getting another batch of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Excuse me, my nose just stopped up. But in terms of the products, standard stuff, the Lumineer Trove, 2 more starter decks. Looks like it's an Amber Emerald, and then a Ruby Sapphire deck. So red, blue, and yellow, green. Those will be the 2 starter decks, featuring Peter Pan and the Dalmatians, and then Moana and Scrooge McDuck. And then, of course, you have your booster packs and everything, which will have Minnie, Jafar, and Piglet on there. So each of the decks, of course, standard stuff, 2 pre-constructed decks, some tokens, a booster pack inside of the box. These will be $18 a piece. The booster packs themselves. This time, instead of a limited edition set, they'll be doing another gift set. So this will be featuring Stitch and Tinkerbell. 4 booster packs, 2 promo cards, which really aren't promo cards, they're just foils of 2 cards in the set, and then the 2 oversized cards, which would be Stitch and Tinkerbell. So basically you get 2 copies of Tinkerbell, 2 copies of Stitch, 1 in oversized, 1 in a regular size foil. So nice for the collection. And then Lumineers Trove. This one up here should be $30. I believe it's $29.99. And then of course Lumineers Trove, which would be $49.99. 8 packs, dividers, storage boxes, damage counters, and all that fun stuff that comes with that one. So that'd be something you guys can look forward to in 2023. But that wasn't all the news. Well, actually, let's look at some of the more important cards, because the new card appearance, and this is on their Twitter, is actually locations. This is what I'm really excited for, since I play Lorcana a lot. Location cards, they're basically works as, you pay a cost to move a character into the location. Your opponent has to destroy the location before they can destroy the character that's inside the location, and then every turn you generate a lore counter for every turn that passes. So essentially with Maleficent's Castle, you get 1 lore per turn. It costs you 1 to move a character into the location, and this has a defense of 6. So these are always exerted. So essentially, once you hit the board, your opponent can start swinging at these, and they have to destroy the location before they can destroy the character inside. But as long as the character is inside the location, that character is actually safe until that location is removed. So a really nice little addition to the game. The first one they announced, which was about a month ago, was the Forbidden Mountain, which is Maleficent's Castle. And the other one they just announced was Fang, which gives you 2. In this one, characters gain ward and evasive while here. That is a problem. As if they didn't need ward to begin with, because they can't be targeted anyway. That's a problem. So yeah, I gotta get while they're here. Like, you have to get past here, unless this gains ward and evasive. It's kind of odd, but we'll see. They'll probably explain more as when we get closer to the release time and the cards will get played out and everything on that side of things. But that wasn't all they announced. And this is probably the most important news for Lorcana. And this is probably going to make a lot of you very angry. But I'm going to give you guys some of the best advice I possibly can. They have finally also announced constructed tournaments. So this is coming from Gamers Radar, and this was retweeted by Lorcana on their Twitter, is that the official 2024 championships have been announced. I believe this is going to start maybe in May, if my memory serves me correctly. We'll go over this really quickly. I'm going to zoom into this a little bit more because it's really difficult to read. Here we go. This is basically a copy of the Enchanted Stitch. This is going to be the prize card for the tournaments, as well as a play mat as well. As you can see, it says champion on the top right corner. But essentially right here, publisher Ravenburgers announced their plans to host a reveal, a more friendly starter set, which we'll go over that, which is basically just a way to get players acclimated into playing the game. I think the starter decks are good as it is, but maybe they have a better idea of getting players started into the game. But it also says a regional scale this mail with the Lorcana Challenge being accumulated in the North American and European Championships near the end of 2024. World Championships will be invite-only competition taking in a large open event. We don't know what your prize will be for winning yet. By the judging of the press release, it seems as if special cards will be involved at the least. And then it says at the local level, you'll be able to test your mettle. And with the fastest being the best card games in recent years, to be precise, in-store events called Set Championships will launch in April. This is the only way that you will get to get the unique Enchanted Stitch Rockstar promo card. What's more, the top 2 players for each event will receive a playmat featuring Stitch Rockstar artwork. So this is the card right here that you get for winning the championship. It's a shift 4. Whenever you play a character with a cost of 2 or more, you may exert them to draw a card. I don't think Rockstar Stitch. Is this the same Rockstar Stitch from set 1? I think it is. It looks like it. I might be mistaken. But essentially an Ultimate Stitch, it has the League promos logo next to it, as well as the Enchanted promo on it. So that's going to be the prize card. And then there's a playmat that says champion on it as well. And then, of course, they say they will give out more details on registration, rewards, and everything via the website this coming March. So essentially right when set 3 releases, they'll get more information about how this qualifies. And then we'll also find out that we'll be getting 4 expansions this year. So we're getting 4. February. Oh, okay. That's new. We're supposed to get one every 3 months. Oh, yeah. So 1 every 3 months is 4. I'm tripping. My brain just broke for a hot second. I'm just like, wait, what do you mean we're getting 4? We get 1 in February, 1 in May, 1 in August, and then 1 in November. So that's 4. My math is not mathing right properly. It's a lot of information, a lot of fun news going on here. And then lastly, they also announced and released the official deck registration sheet, which is basically pretty tournament standard with judges and everything in between. If they start a judge program, I will be signing up for that immediately. I am a Yu-Gi-Oh judge currently, but I would love to be a judge for Lorcana because I love playing the game. But what does that mean for you guys, more importantly, for those that like to play Lorcana? The most important takeaway here is, of course, outside of making sure you stay abreast of your LGSs, if you do want to play in the competitive format as they give out those details, right now, and I literally mean right now, is the time to purchase any card that you need for a somewhat reasonable price while card prices are still kind of down. When the tournament scene, and maybe really get more details on that, and as they release information, I'll keep you guys updated here on the channel. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, so that way you guys can be abreast to this information. As the tournament scene kicks off, and because there are already online tournaments with Pixelborn and people playing and others, because there are a lot of like game stores that are doing cash prizes and a bunch of absurd and obnoxious things in terms of Lorcana. But they've already started doing that. So there are already decks and everything out here that are kind of seen as the more playable and more dangerous decks to play against, and strategies are kind of being made every single day. So you want to probably keep your eyes and ears to that ground. But any card that you need from that point on, once the competitive scene really starts and you really see what cards are the most devastating or what decks are the most devastating, those card prices are going to go up. Like right now, they're kind of low because League is League and it's not really super competitive. It's just more casual. You play and you get things. But when the competitive scene drops and they understand how pricing and everything else works, and especially with that Stitch now being a champion's prize card, any staple, I wouldn't even call it staple, any prominent card in your ink color or anything that's going to be necessary for you to have a higher chance of winning, all of those cards are going to go up in price without a doubt. So if there's something that you're searching for, or something that you're really interested in and know is a very powerful card that you need 4 copies of, get it now. Do not wait, because like I said, the second they announce the rules and everything and people really get their strategies and decks together, it's going to be a madhouse again. And then it's going to be, I wouldn't maybe say it won't be probably difficult to find products still. It might get a little bit harder, but you know, the singles market is where it's at, especially if you need specific cards, so you don't have to worry about pulling them. But yeah, if the prices are kind of creeping down now, I would hop on that immediately to make sure that you save as most money as possible and have a best competitive edge. If you just want to play in the League, then stick to the League. I enjoy League personally. I have a lot of fun with the guys in my card shop, guys and girls, sorry. I got some deck tweaking to do and probably another deck to eventually build at some point in time, but we'll figure that out when that time comes. But League is fun for me personally. It's a little bit more laid back. I can somewhat be competitive without having to worry about like winning and losing. Is not the biggest deal in League, but when this starts and if it's enough to pull me into probably playing a little bit more competitively, which I kind of want to do, but just at least try and see how it goes. Yeah, those cards are going to go up in price like nobody's business. If you thought the card prices were expensive when they first came out and initially, you guys will be seeing them skyrocket relatively soon. So that'll be my advice to you guys for those who are looking for Lorcana. Be in touch with your LGSs. I know mine already said that about a month out is when they're going to start looking at probably doing pre-orders. So that'll be in the next couple of days. So I have my eyes and ears to the ground when it comes to my shop and my guys. But in terms of everything else about getting chapter 3, but definitely for the competitive scene, definitely look into purchasing any cards that you're missing, so that way you have the best chance of getting everything that you need as soon as humanly possible. But that's all the fun news I have in the world of TCGs. There's going to be a lot of openings and a lot of things coming, especially with Rarity Collection. I think I'm going to attempt to get a case of Rarity Collection and do a live stream of a case opening. I really want to do one. I just don't want to do it in a video form because that will be forever. It already takes me about 25 to 30 minutes to open up a single booster box. Doing 12 of them, that video will be forever long. So I feel like that'd be better done in a live stream. So we'll see how that time goes. If I can order a case, then that'll be what I'll do, as well as open a booster box when it becomes available. That's my goal for Rarity Collection in the Yu-Gi-Oh space. Hopefully I can pre-order chapter 3 this time around, do a proper blister versus boosters and a couple other things, but we'll see how that kind of thing goes. I have no idea how the pre-orders, the release schedule, in terms of how much product they're going to be releasing. I will give Ravensburger their credit. They are doing better and they have been improving inventory. Let's just hope that they maintain that for chapter 3 and mitigate a lot of ire that they have on the websites in terms of flooding the markets and with bots and everything else. And maybe other people are not as persuaded to just buy up all the inventory and try to scalp it, because like I said, chapter 2 fell down in price really, really quick. So we'll see how that kind of thing goes, and I can keep you guys eyes and ears to the ground. But in the meantime, that's all I have for you guys for today. Until next time, King Zeph, No Time to Explain. Like, comment, and subscribe. And also help us get as close to, because like I said, when we hit 1,000, I plan on doing another giveaway, and maybe it could be a booster box for Lorcana if I can get my hands on one, but we got to get to 1,000 subscribers first. Our next goal is 750. So if you guys are new here, welcome, join us. We got card stuff, we got gaming stuff, we got past or playlists for music lovers. We're gonna have a lot more stuff coming in this coming year amongst myself, Mr. and Mrs. IB Friction, as well as Ego the Humble Bragger. So get us all together for that, get us prepared for that one, and join us and enjoy our content and give us your feedback and tell us what you would like to see from us in the future as well. So do me that solid, just give us a review, tell us what you want to see, tell us what you don't want to see so much anymore, or just some criticism and some collaborations as well. We don't have an issue doing collaboration. We can squeeze that in, especially for me with Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I would love to work with other people and do that whole ordeal. So King Zeph, sorry, outro one more time. No Time to Explain. I'm out. Till next time. Peace.